Hey fellow hedgehogs, I'm back with another discussion video. Anyway, I recently completed Sonic 06, the real one, not Chaos X's version, and I actually liked a lot of it. The bugs and glitches rarely came up, and I barely had to mod the game, if at all. Plus, there's some stuff in it that gets too much hate that I actually love about this game. Now, I am aware that had I played this on the original hardware, the game would have lagged a lot more and run much slower. Personally though, I don't think it would change my mind much. After all, I did enjoy Sonic Colors Ultimate when even that was lagging on my PC. Having recently completed the game's final story, I figured it'd be a great time for a review, so that said, here it is. While a positive review of Sonic 06 could easily be seen as controversial, the game has actually been getting some love over the past few years from quite a few Sonic fans, most of whom either went back and played it and felt different about it this time, or people who loved the game to begin with, even though hating it was the norm back then. The game did a lot right, and I know this game supposedly killed the Sonic franchise, but is that really true? Even with all the negative reception to the game from both regular players and critics, the game still made a profit over the cost of production that went into it, and that, by definition, is a success. A financial success, anyway. But it's still a good game, in my opinion. The game has quite a few bugs and glitches, even some I encountered on Xenia with several patches, but to be honest, most of them barely affect the gameplay, and for a lot of them, you'd most likely have to trigger them on purpose. So my playthrough was relatively stable. And I know the story gets a lot of flack for the time travel plot holes and how unnecessarily complicated the story is, but just watch the individual cutscenes. They're pretty well done. And as for that cutscene, honestly, that's such a nitpick from people who just like to hate on stuff. Sonic isn't even dead. Elise says that herself. And the kiss itself, there was no real romantic chemistry between Sonic and Elise, if you look close enough. That might as well have just been a generic power of friendship moment. And even if it was a romance, don't tell me you haven't seen cartoonish animals and relationships with regular humans from long before 2006. Now on to the gameplay. The gameplay isn't bad at all in my opinion. Honestly, overall, it's mediocre at worst, and most of it is actually enjoyable to at least some extent. There are very few gameplay moments I would legitimately call bad, and pretty much all of them are in the town missions or the boss fights. Some of the town missions and boss fights are fun, yeah, but some are just tediously hard, and others way too easy. And sure, it's weird that each character's basic abilities are mapped to just 2 or 3 buttons, but usually for the abilities themselves, that's not really an issue. The character's abilities are just few enough and just varied enough that it's tolerable, except for Amy. God, bitch is so slow! But regardless, being able to master these abilities and get creative using them rewards you with all kinds of neat pathways and secrets and items. Plus, the relative slowness of the characters is good for helping you take your time through the levels, admire the great graphics, get a bunch of items, and overall just explore. But again, Amy is the exception. Move faster, damn it! The story isn't too bad if you look at each cutscene individually. Most of them are pretty well made, and the cutscene with Sonic and Elise after the final boss was actually pretty wholesome in my opinion. Sonic and Elise's friendship overall is much more wholesome than romantic. Elise is not a useless character, as even many of this game's hardest offenders would have you believe. She and Sonic have an important dynamic. Sonic teaches Elise to smile and enjoy life, and Elise's predicaments motivate Sonic to go as fast as he's ever been to save her and embrace the adventure and action we all know and love him for. Yeah, sure, as I said, there are quite a few plot holes in the story added because of the time travel element, but the individual cutscenes themselves definitely deserve some degree of praise. Pretty much any story has plot holes if you look hard enough, and that's often necessary for the plot to go in a way that suits the desired narrative and tone for the story. You've probably heard from a lot of Sonic fans as a joke that Sonic 06 never happened. And that's technically true. At the end of the story of the game itself, Sonic 06 makes it so that none of the events in the game ever happened. And that may seem like it undoes a lot of your hard work fixing the timeline, but that's just it. You fixed the timeline. You saved the world from Solaris. It's not a waste of work at all. This game's actually one I really enjoyed. This really felt like a Sonic game to me, and a good one at that. If you want to play the game without the issues of lag and slowdown, you have two options. First, you can run the game on an emulator like Xenia, which is what I did, but you're probably going to need a more powerful computer for that. Or if you want to support all the effort Sega put into this game and you happen to have an Xbox 360 lying around, or you plan to get one, or it's easy for you to get one, Sega recently re-released the game on the Xbox Marketplace so you can purchase the game onto your Xbox account and download it onto your 360. It has better performance and faster loading times than the disc version, so it's definitely an option worth exploring. This game is just too good for me to hate it like everyone else does, and to be honest, I kinda love it. Well, fellow hedgehogs, thanks for listening to my review. If you enjoyed the video, press the like button below, and if you have an opinion you want to share, leave a comment and subscribe if you want more discussions and gameplay. If you want to monetarily support my channel, I accept tips through Super Thanks and Coffee. Don't feel obligated though, watching and subscribing is enough to support me. So until next time, stay safe and stay cool.